Hi, this is Karen, also known as the Preacherlady. Today's devotion is Just Breathe, a devotion for Pentecost. Next Sunday is Pentecost. It's the day we remember the Holy Spirit descending on the disciples. We think of fire and wind. So, in thinking of wind, I couldn't help it. That stupid scene from Twister where the cow flies around popped into my head. Well, and with the anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, Luke hanging from the bottom of Bespin with wind whipping past him. Yes, the Holy Spirit is powerful, but somehow I don't think flying cows are going to help us understand it. In the beginning, God was creating, and the Spirit was the wind of God sweeping over the waters of chaos. Living in Florida, as we enter hurricane season, this is a powerful image. But I can't forget that the Hebrew word for wind is the same word for breath, ruach. When God created human beings, he breathed the breath of life into them. And when the risen Jesus appeared to his disciples in the upper room in John 20:22 says, he breathed on them and said to them, receive the Holy Spirit. That same breath of life that God breathes into each of us, Jesus gives as a gift of the Holy Spirit. The Pentecost story from Acts 2 says, and suddenly from heaven there came a sound like the rush of a violent wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting. Divided tongues of fire appeared among them, and a tongue rested on each of them. It seems to be a dichotomy. The Holy Spirit can come as a fierce storm or as a gentle breath. But either way, the result is life-changing. The mighty wind on Pentecost gave fearful Peter, who had denied Jesus 3 times in his fear, the courageous breath to preach the gospel. With all we have been through so far this year, they're now predicting a very active hurricane season, while we're already stuck at home. The spirit that I long for right now is the quiet breath of life. Now, John Paul and I have been doing a lot of walking to get out, to get some exercise. And we've now hit the hot, humid Florida summer weather. It makes the walks less pleasant. We're not sure that we're comfortable picking up with mall walking again. But the other day, we were walking in the 90+ degree humid weather, and a cool breeze struck up, making things bearable again. Maybe that is the wind of the Spirit for these times. We are stressed. Many of us are stir crazy. We're scared. But we're not alone. The wind of the Spirit is with us. And when you get too stressed, take a deep breath. Remember that that is the breath of God that gives you life. Jesus sent the Holy Spirit to live in us so that we would never be alone in our travels. But we learn one more thing from the Pentecost story. Once the wind of the Spirit had filled them, the disciples went out into the street and shared that breath. We have the breath of God within us. We are called to breathe life into the world. This is a hard analogy to remember when we're out there wearing masks and trying to stay 6 feet apart. But let us remember to use our breath to spread hope and love and grace and comfort to all those we encounter. Even if we have to do this over Zoom or the telephone or Facebook, take a deep breath. Breathe in the Holy Spirit. Then use that breath to spread God's love. Have a blessed week.